This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Hello and welcome to Week 10 of the Primetime Blitz, brought to you by Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I'm the host, Big B, along with two of my three fellow co-hosts, halfway around the world, Primus, Tim Hendricks. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, fighting a cold, but other than that, I'm good, excited. We're at the halfway point of the season now. It depends on if your team's had the bye week or not, but I think the football gods listened to our prayers last week and gave us closer games compared to the week before, and I hope it goes that way again this week.
Yep. And they gave us some shockers too. Of course, we will recap Week 9 here shortly. And we got the Ricky, Kevin. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. Another sketchy Bears win, but it's a win in the books.
Hey, there's a lot of people that probably think that game was probably the game of the week. I know a lot of people are saying that's the drive of the year so far, catch of the year, the run of the year. I mean, a lot of things coming out of that Bears game.
How bad the Bengals defense is, because that guy should have been tackled.
Yeah. So
either way, I think they lose that game because we would have been in field goal range.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the Week 9 recap. And Kevin, since you kind of started, recap 9, the Bears comeback victory. What's your thoughts?
Well, let's start off with we should have lost that game. We don't deserve to win that game. You're up by 13 points with like a minute 50 left or something like that. They score, they get the onside kick, they score again, take the lead, and then you just wish upon a star that the Bengals defense doesn't know how to play football like they haven't all year. And little do you know, there they go, choking a 2 missed tackle in open field. Safety and a corner both missing a tackle on a tight end, and he just breaks loose for huge touchdown, probably biggest catch of his career. Other than that, we gave up way too many passing yards to a 80-year-old quarterback. That man is literally doing what Roger does, and he's doing the smelling salts. Man is old. Yeah, but again, a win's a win. Puts us still in the runnings for the NFC North.
Yep, sure does. Tim, your Colts. You're on mute, Tim.
What can you say when you give up 6 turnovers, and 5 of them are Daniel Jones's Daniel Jones's fault? You kind of hope he's not doing his backslide. You give up 6 turnovers, you only get 1 takeaway. You don't win games. That just doesn't happen. Everybody's like, well, you only lost by a score. Yeah, those last 10 points were in basic garbage time from 4.5 minutes of the fourth quarter on. So that 27-20 score is a bit deceiving. We couldn't stop a head cold. If you put it in a bag and put it in a hanky and do whatever you could, we just couldn't stop a thing. But when that happens, you hope you get somebody that you can face that's going to be pretty easy. And well, it depends on what the Falcons do and what team shows up in Berlin on Sunday. But yeah, it's a little disappointing. But hopefully you step up because it's you saw what happened after we lost to the Rams. Now we could see what we could do to the Falcons. So.
Yep. Yeah, you guys got the early game on Saturday or Sunday, but got some help coming, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here. Minnesota, I think, shocked 90% of the world. I think football fans wise, shocked me. I watched the game. You saw that first drive where Laporta dragged in like 3 Vikings from the 3-yard line into the end zone. So I sat there and just like, oh my God, this is gonna be a long day if we can't stop anybody and stop the drive, can't tackle. McCarthy showed up, balled out. I think that was definitely the best game he's had in his short career. What a catch by Jefferson, finally showed up. Naylor had a nice catch at the end of the game to seal the game up. The offense looked good. Defense was kind of average. They did enough not to lose the game. But it was a little bit scary there for a little bit. But outside of that, any other games stick out to you guys, Kevin?
Yeah. How about the Packers deciding to shit the bed again?
I kind of figured you're going to bring that one up. 13-point favorites going into the game and losing. I mean, that's they have not had a good couple weeks here.
Hey, like I said, I'm high on the Panthers.
Yeah, you're higher right on that one. I mean, so Tim, any games outside of that stuck out to you?
The Broncos-Texans game. That game, the Broncos come back for what? Now, what is it, the second week in a row to play against the team? This is a team that plays down to their opponents, and I thought I was going to lose that game. I thought I was going to lose that game, and then all of a sudden, the next thing I look up, I win that game, and otherwise, which I would have been that Jaguars Raiders game. I think they were just trying out Jacoby Myers at that point, see what he was going to do, if he was going to be a big help because of what ends up happening earlier this week.
Yep. What about Little? I mean, talk about the Jaguars.
You want to know what makes it worse is I had Cam Little and I had Cam Little on the bench.
Oh no. 68-yard boom. I mean, we know he did one in the preseason, which was 70-yarder, but
that's for the record, right?
Yeah, that is the record. Yeah, I don't know. It looked like it could have been good from 70 plus.
Jesus.
Yeah, but for me,
I want to eat what that guy's eating.
Yeah, no kidding. For me, I would say the game that stuck out and surprisingly was the Seattle game. I mean, Seattle versus the Commanders. Darnold was perfect through the first half, dropping dimes. I don't know why Daniels was in there late in the fourth quarter, but hyperextended his elbow, going to be out, I think, for the year. They also lost McCaffrey. So, yeah, I think I don't know who the head coach is there, but he should probably be rethinking some decisions there going forward. So, and the Cowboys lost.
Dan Quinn, right?
Yeah, it's Dan Quinn.
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, you're right. And then the Cowboys ended up losing, so that's always a wrap on a good season.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. All these people that they got in these trades are just going to go there, and they're still going to be bad.
Well, let's get into that. Let's get into some trade talk. I think I just found a site that just gave me the big name trades. Speaking of the Cowboys,
Bears trade, the Bears trade, that big trade.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll go through them.
I don't even know who that guy is. Never heard of him.
So we got the Dallas Cowboys acquired Logan Wilson from the Bengals. Dallas gave up a 20 26th, 7th round draft pick to pick up linebacker Logan Williams. Tim, what's your thoughts on trade number 1 for the Cowboys?
I think trade number 1 didn't need to happen because it only happened because I think it's a knee-jerk reaction because they decided to trade Micah Parsons to Green Bay. You get two firsts in return, but you get a guy whose nickname is Cowboy to go to the Cowboys. It's a little tongue in cheek on that one, but what can you say? You're paying basically pennies for an outside linebacker.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, this trade probably doesn't happen if Parsons is still there. But Kevin, what's your thoughts on that first trade?
I mean, it's a player from the Bengals. Bengals defense.
He's a pretty decent player. I mean, he's going to help him out a little bit. I mean,
well, if that was the case, why didn't you just keep Micah Parsons?
Yeah, I think that's a question a lot of Cowboys fans are asking is,
so
why do you keep Parsons?
We trade away our best defensive player, and then we trade for his position. Like, what?
Yeah. But draft pick talks, we know how Jerry Jones likes to gather those draft picks up, so it'll be interesting to see what that Parsons trade turns into. And, of course, people will break it down from here on out. But speaking of the Bears, so the Bears got defensive end Joe, can't pronounce his last name, Tryon something. And a 26th 7th round pick to the Cleveland Browns for a 20. So pretty much you guys are trading 26 swapping draft picks and you got a player in return that again, yeah, I don't even know. I'm gonna look at his stats, but Kevin, what is your initial reaction, I guess?
Well, we traded we needed an edge rusher, but I don't think an edge rusher was our biggest need. If you guys look at our injury report, it's our secondary. It's our freaking corners, our safeties. Why didn't we go all in on Sauce Gardner? Why didn't we go in on Mika Fitzpatrick? Why didn't we go in on these guys who are in the trade talks? If you guys know that you're struggling at the corner position, like for example, that Deshaun Wright. Like, yeah, he might be getting interceptions, but if you watch the entire game, he's getting 3 or 4 flags for either pass interference or illegal use of hands to the face or whatever every time.
Yep.
He is causing you guys yards. He's causing free plays. He's causing points. And then he makes up by getting an interception at the end of the game. But it shouldn't even get to that point because there's no reason that they should even, like, for example, he had 2 pass interference calls in the Bengals game, 2. And then he had 2 the week before, and then he had like 3 or 4 the week before that. So it's like 8 penalties on one player in 3 weeks. And like, man, it's just, I wish they'd have like a betting system on if that guy gets a penalty or not, because I'd take the over all day.
They probably do. You can probably bet on a lot of things out there. Tim, what's your thoughts?
Yeah.
I think Chicago called up Cleveland looking to see what it was going to cost to trade for Myles Garrett and got Myles Garrett Jr. light. God, yeah. I hope it shores up the line for Chicago, but there were other players out there that Chicago could have got instead. And yeah, basically you're just swapping picks and the player was a tip.
Yep. No, that's exactly right. Looking at his stats, I mean, he started in 2021, 6 games out of 17 with the Buccaneers. 2022, 16 games out of 17, 12 games out of 17, 11 out of 15. And then with the Browns this year, he hasn't started the game yet. He's only got 5 tackles, 4 assists, 0 sacks. So, yeah, it's one of those, I think Tim just kind of nailed it. They got Garrett Jr. or whatever, and they're just like, well, let's just swap things then, and go from there. The next trade we're going to talk about, this one I think might have shocked a few people. The Jacksonville Jaguars acquire Jacoby Myers from the Raiders for a 2026 round draft, or 2026 picks, a 4th round and a 6th round. NFL.com gives this grade an A, or this trade an A minus. Tim, what is your thoughts on this grade?
Completely agree. I absolutely agree. You've got the Jaguars, who are what, second in the league, first or second in the league in drop passes. And then you decide to trade for the guy who's probably the only smart guy that wanted out of Las Vegas. But the thing is, he's first or third in drop passes, with the least amount of drop passes in the league. I think it's just another weapon for Trevor Lawrence. I think it was a great move, and they saw what he could do when they played. What was it, Monday? They just played each other too, and I think it was a great chance for them to take a look at him. And I think they were making phone calls as soon as that game was over.
Oh yeah, they played last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played last week. Kevin, what's your thoughts on the trade?
I mean, I know Jacoby Myers wanted out of there. They were saying that at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So, like Prime Moose was saying, he's the only smart guy to, be like, yeah, I want to get the hell out of here. This place is going nowhere. And he, I think he's going to become more successful over there. And Jacksonville needed it with the injury to, Travis Hunter. Yeah, so, it's going to be a great pickup for them. Trevor Lawrence got another weapon. So I think it's a great trade.
And that was going to be my question. Does this trade go through or get made if Hunter doesn't get injured? I mean, you're only giving up a 4th and a 6th. So maybe it does. I mean, just think of what next year could bring with Myers and Hunter, the young weapons they have in Jacksonville. But yeah, I agree. This trade was an A all day long. Seattle trades for Rashid Sharon, wide receiver. They are from the Saints. And the Saints get a 4th and a 5th in 2026. This is also an A minus grade. Another weapon for Darnold there. Kevin, what are your thoughts on that trade?
Another guy who was smart to get out of there. I mean, that quarterback situation there in New Orleans is it's a toss-up. It's either that quarterback's going to have an okay game or he's going to have a bad game. They haven't really, out shined. They haven't thrown out for 300 yards and stuff. But I think, Chris Olave, not getting as much action is now going to see a lot more action, and so is Juwan Johnson. So, but I think Shaheed getting out of there was a good move for him. And like you said, they get picks out of it. So it was on my part, I think, pretty good trade.
Yep, Tim?
Yeah, I thought this was a great trade. I think it might have been a knee-jerk reaction because Seattle decided to let Metcalf walk and Tyler Lockett leave. But the thing is, you got Jackson Smith and Jigba, probably the perfect complement on the other side of the field, and Shaheed. I think this is a great trade. I think this is an absolute wonderful trade for Seattle.
Well, yeah, exactly. And, Jackson Smith, I mean, the receivers, I think, leading the league right now. So definitely a good compliment there. Sam Darnold, playing above what I think a lot of people thought he was going to do with those guys leaving. So, that's going to be a good one to watch. Dallas, back on the trading floor here. They trade for Quinn Mitchell from the Jets. Jets who had just a blowout Kmart special, I think they're doing. The Jets receive Mizee Smith, defensive tackle, a 26th second round pick and a 27th first round pick. Tim, what's your thoughts on that trade?
When I saw it come across, I was shocked because we'll talk about the bigger trade later about what happened earlier in the day for the Jets. It helps, but again, right now you're dropping them. We're talking about the Bengals having such a Swiss cheese type of defense. The Cowboys aren't any better. They had I still think they're the 31st worst defense in the 31st defense in the league. This is just a drop in the bucket. There's so many holes in that boat that it's still gonna sink faster than a Titanic. But any little thing to help plug a hole, I guess.
They're gonna be the worst.
Yeah, Kevin, what's your thoughts on this trade?
Yeah, Quinnen Williams, he's actually he's a very good defender. He's a really good defensive player. I think that's a great pickup for the Cowboys. And I think it's good that the Jets are going to get some picks out of it. Go help that team out because they need a lot of it.
Yeah, let's see what they do. That grade was rated a B or given a B. A Dallas again. If you don't trade Parsons, do you make these trades? I mean, who knows? But Dallas, trying to bulk up that defensive.
I got a question. Is that 27 first round pick? Is that the one they got from Green Bay?
It does not state that. I'm looking to see. Wait. Yeah, it doesn't state. It just says a first round pick. So that might be something that's still in the works. But yeah, we'll find out. I mean, but maybe this is part of that. Like Tim just mentioned, maybe that's the Packers' first round pick. So, and if that's the case, I mean, Packers are probably going to be drafting in the mid-20s or late teens for sure if they keep doing what they're doing. So that pick really ain't going to matter. Well, that's a 2027 pick, so who knows, I guess. Well, the big trade, I think that, rocked the world and made Tim a little happy. The Colts acquired Sauce Gardner from the Jets. They gave up Mitchell, wide receiver, a 26th first-round pick, and a 27th first-round pick. So I may think a little bit high on that, but Tim, what's your thoughts?
I thought it was a little high. Basically, it sounded if you look at it, it's the same trade that the Packers made for Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
It was a 26 first, a 27 first, and a player. I don't know if Kenny Clark was a second round pick, but Adonai Mitchell was gone no matter what. Adonai Mitchell was gone after his nice little debacle there against the Rams. They were just biding their time. I think it was a little high. I think we could have easily gotten him for a first and a third Mitchell, or a third, first, and a fourth with Mitchell. I'm happy we've got him. And the weird thing is, I was always so worried, well, we're going to get him on a 1 year, and then I remembered during the summer we signed that the Jets had signed him to a 4-year extension, so he's signed until 2030. So it's good to see Chris Ballard not doing something stupid and just sitting on his hands and not doing anything in the trade deadline, because he's pretty good for doing exactly that. I'm happy we went out and got somebody. That just tells me that we're playing for the Super Bowl this year in the near future.
Yeah. Kevin, what's your thoughts on that trade?
Again, Jets got more picks. Go out there and get some help for that team. But I think even with the Colts giving up that much, I mean, you could tell they're going all in. They're in it to win it this year. So I think even with giving up those 2 first rounders, I think the Colts are winning that trade.
Yeah, I think the Colts Sauce Gardner is going to help them out big time there. Let's see what the Jets can do with those picks. Looking at some other trades here, Phillies made a couple before the trade deadline ended. They added Jalen Phillips from the Dolphins for a 3rd-round pick next year. Then they also added veteran corner Jair Alexander from the Ravens for a 6th-round pick. Plus, Eagles also got a 27 7th-round pick. So, Tim, what are your thoughts on the Eagles trades? They also had a 3rd one from the Jets. I'm just scrolling through here. They also added Mitchell Carter II. Gave up wide receiver John Mitchin the 3rd and a 27th pick. So Jets or Eagles kind of productive right before that. So what are your thoughts on the Eagles there?
Eagles just reloading at this point. You know, they're just reloading that defense. I was more shocked by the Alexander for the Jair Alexander trade than I was the Jalen Phillips, because everybody knew that Dolphins were going to be a dumpster fire anyway, and they were just going to have a fire sale. And I'm surprised more hadn't gone like Bradley Chubb, but it's just Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman does what Howie Roseman does. You know, you don't build a team like the Eagles unless you make trades like Howie Roseman does.
Yep. Kevin, what's your thoughts on that trade?
Yeah, like Primu said again, I'm surprised about the Jair Alexander trade. But yeah, they're just, getting more defensive players.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think. I think you guys nailed it. Their Eagles are just reloading. They got the team. They just want to keep that pressure on the NFC North or NFC division, try to get back to Super Bowl, and by adding those guys definitely shows that that's what they're doing. Any surprises on people that did get moved, Kevin? Any big surprises?
Yeah. Yeah, one that I am surprised about that was talked about big time, and he requested to be wanting to trade, was Breece Hall from the Jets. That was another one. He said he wanted out, and he didn't get traded. But 2 other ones that I'm surprised did not get moved. Actually, there's 3. DJ Moore of the Bears. I know there's a lot of talks about him being moved, along with Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara. Those were 2 more that I thought might have been moved at the trade deadline. More of the Olave. And I saw a couple things surrounding Jalen Waddle as well. So I'm surprised Jalen Waddle didn't get moved as well. And again, like I said, Mika Fitzpatrick, because there's talks about that, and the Bears should have went after him.
Yeah.
So those are just some of the bigger names that I heard around the trade rumors, around the turmoil around that the last 2-3 weeks. But yeah, I would say one of the bigger names that I've seen for weeks was Breece Hall. That was one of the bigger ones, especially since he said the day of the trade deadline, he's like, I want to be traded, and he didn't get traded. So I saw a meme, Brandon, about when we were standing in line to get into Grand Slams. Yeah, my buddy who was watching that video, the guy's like, we're the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did one. He did one for I think it was him, or it was Wyatt Worlds or something, but it was Breece Hall during trade deadline, and it was like, oh, there you go, Quinnen Williams, you're moving, you're going to a new team, congratulations. And he's like, oh, Sauce, congratulations. And then Sauce is like, yeah, you'll be traded later on too. And then they're like, and that concludes trade deadline. And then he's like, what about me? He's like, oh, I thought I said you. He goes, no, you didn't. He's like, where am I going? He's, oh, it looks like you're staying here.
I have to find that. That guy is funny. Yeah. Tim, any names outside the ones that Kevin threw out there?
He stole my thunder there with Brees Hall. I thought Brees Hall was gone too. I brought it up. I brought it up a little earlier. I heard the Jaden Waddle one too, and I that one kind of shocked me that name was being bantered around a lot. I'm kind of surprised that Kirk Cousins didn't get traded a little bit. I thought he might have gone to the Raiders or something along that lines. Bradley Chubb not getting out of Miami. Trey Hendrickson. I thought that was weird considering he wanted to trade and him being linked to Indy beginning of the season. I think everybody's waiting right now that they're gonna the lottery for the free agent market is going to be huge because Cincinnati's come out and said they're not going to franchise tag Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, I was surprised. I knew Max Crosby wasn't going to be traded because he wants to retire a Raider, and the Raiders weren't taking offers. I don't think there was a number that the Raiders would have heard that they would have given up on. Yeah, I think those three I said were pretty huge shock that they weren't traded.
Yeah, no, I mean you guys named them all. Waddle was a big one. Yeah, Henderson. There was big talk that he wanted out this offseason, linked to a lot of teams. I thought for sure he was gone. Especially if you're not going to franchise tag him for next year, I think you would want to get something for him.
Right.
But yeah, you guys named them all. I know I was listening to local radio here, and one of the PA guy, Paul Allen, he made hints that Vikings were fielding some calls for Jordan Addison, but weren't taking them too serious. So, I'm glad the Vikings really didn't move. It would have been nice to get some offensive lineman help, but it is what it is. But, yeah. But, and the Saints, Kevin, you brought up the two big players there. I'm surprised they didn't move them either. The way that team's been going. So, all right, trade talk in the books. Kevin, what's your one tough question?
Well, like I said, couldn't find my book, so I had to come up with a new one today, right off the top of my head. And the first thing I thought of was, is the NFC North the toughest division?
Ooh. Tim, I'll let you start that answering.
Golly. I'd put it up there with the NFC West. It's a tough division. Both are tough divisions right now. I think that's the only division in the league right now that has a winning record. Every team has a winning record or is above 500.
We're above 500.
They're above 500.
Yep.
I have to agree with that. But have you guys hit? The thing is the North hit the meat of their division schedule yet? That's the big question.
Let's see here. So, Packers have played one division game. Lions have played 3. They're 1-2. Bears have played 2. They're 0-2. The Vikings are 2-0 in the division. So, I know the Vikings are hitting their meat of their schedule right now. So, it'll be interesting to see this in a couple weeks where it's at. But yeah, I'm with Tim. I think the North is definitely a battle. Yeah, you can't count out the West. I know that wasn't the question, but Arizona's 3-5. Everybody else is 6-3, 6-2. So I mean, that division definitely could be in the talks. But yeah, right now with the North having the only teams above 500 or at 500, definitely. I would say yes, that they're the tough ones. Kevin, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I almost wanted to say that Bills division, but then I realized that it's only the Bills and the Patriots that are fighting for that. But that's all. And then, that Steelers division, they're always tough when all those teams are healthy. It's always a good division.
Yeah.
But I think right now, if you look at, everybody's records and stuff, I think the NFC North is definitely a tough division as well as the division with the 49ers and everything, because they're all those teams are just, man, they're all rough.
Yeah. And just a little breakdown on the North. Packers at home are 3-1. Detroit's 3-1. Bears are 2-1. Vikings are 1-2 at home. On the road, Packers are 2-1-1. Lions are 2-2. Bears are 3-2, and the Vikings are 3-2. So no matter if they're home or away, I mean they're still battling very good there. So that was a great one tough question to come off the top of your head there. So let's move into week 10. Kicks off tomorrow. We have the Raiders at 2-4 versus the Denver Broncos at 7-2. Broncos are 9.5-point favorites, and based on our criteria, this will be ESPN's lock of the week. Kevin, what's your pick?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a slugfest for the Broncos. I think they're going to absolutely go out there and kill the Raiders. I know it is a division game, but I'm taking the Broncos.
Tim?
Yeah, I can't argue that. I'm trying to see if I made it my lock. I don't think I did. That's the wrong one. That's the right page. No, I didn't make it my lock. No, I think this is just we're talking about the Denver Broncos defense against the Vegas Raiders offense, and you gave away probably your biggest weapon to the Jaguars. Yeah, I think it's a nice reprieve that the Broncos don't have to play. I don't think they're going to be playing a game of catch up. They're going to come out of the gates. They're going to just make this a horse race, and they're going to make this a dog race, and they're the rabbit. The Broncos are going to win this one big.
Yeah, I'm with you. Definitely Denver at home. Raiders, kind of a mess. Like Tim said, got rid of your best weapon. Chris is also going with the Broncos. I don't have mess around picks yet, so if I get them, we'll share them. Going into the Saturday game or Sunday games, we got the Ravens visiting Minnesota. Ravens are 3-5, a 4.5-point favorites over the Vikings, who are 4-4. Tim, who do you have?
You've got a healthier Lamar Jackson. This team, what was it last week was the first week that all their big stars had finally played a snap at the same. Their big offensive weapons played a snap with each other for the first time all season. That's just strange. I hate to break your heart, Brandon, but I got the Ravens.
All right. Chris took the Vikings on this one. Kevin, who do you have?
Yeah, I have to agree with Primus here, Brandon. Hate to hurt your feelings here, but I think the Ravens are going to want to make the playoffs, and they're going to need to win, and they need to win now.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. The Vikings also needed to, and I'm giving the Vikings a slight advantage in this game, mainly just because they're at home. Hopefully what they did in Detroit comes back and they get the whole crowd behind them right away. This I will say could be game of the week. With two teams battling to get better record to get into that playoff hunt. So we got the Falcons 3-5 versus the Colts at 7-2. Colts are 6.5 points favorites. Chris has the Colts. I have the Colts in a lock. Kevin, who do you have?
I have the Colts as well.
All right. Tim?
Yeah. They always say feed your chicken soup when you have a cold. I think the Colts just got their chicken soup with the Atlanta Falcons here in Berlin. I've got the Colts as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see how much Sauce Gardner plays in that game. The next game, the Browns at 2-6 are 2.5 point favorites over the retooled Jets at 1-7. Kevin, who do you have?
I got the Browns.
Ooh, Tim?
Yeah, I want to see how retooled they are with their first round draft picks. God, this is a terrible game. This is such a terrible game. It's going to be probably the game of the week because of how bad they are. You always watch those you always like hear this. Oh, this is a great movie. This is a terrible movie, but it's so bad it's fun.
Yep.
Yeah, that's this game, and just on that alone, go and flip it, game over. I'm going to take the Jets.
Ooh, had me second guessing yourself there. I thought, Chris has got the Jets. I'm too also taking the Jets. I just think see what they can do. Maybe those trades made a statement in the locker room that nobody's safe. Let's just see what they do. I think this is going to be one of those games, like Tim said. We're thinking it's going to be ugly, but it's going to turn out to be probably the game of the week, last second drive, field goal, or something like that. So we got the Jaguars 5-3, a 1.5 favorite over the Titans 3-5. Tim, who do you have?
I've got the Jaguars. I think you're going to see Trevor Lawrence with his new toy. This might be the game where I stop calling him Charlotte Flair. I think you're going to see a lot. I think this is going to be a bigger game for the Jaguars, a bigger score for the Jaguars than that 1.5 says.
Yeah, Chris is going with the Texans. I'm going with the Jaguars. I think that 1.5 is kind of a little
suspect.
Too little there. Yeah, suspect. It'll be interesting to see what Lawrence does with his new weapon, how much his new weapon gets to play. So, Kevin, who do you have?
I am taking the Jags, and I'm taking as my lock.
Jags as the lock. All right. The next game we got on the docket, the Bills 6-2, 8.5-point favorites over the Dolphins, who are at 2-7. I got the Bills. Chris has the Dolphins on this, so we're so far at a tie. Kevin, who do you have?
What?
Which game is this?
The Bills and Dolphins.
Yeah, I almost took the Bills as my lock, but I'm taking the Bills.
I'm just re-looking at Chris's picks as he sent it to me just to make sure. Yes, he took the Dolphins, and Kevin, you took the Bills. All right, Tim, who do you have?
I think the only way you start salvaging the Dolphins season is if you start playing Quinn Ewers. But that's just me. I've got the Bills, and this is going to be funny. This is going to be funnier than Week 1. It really is.
Yeah, but we talked about this a little bit ago, and last year that division comes up against each other. I mean, they play up to. So I'm not. I mean, I know we're kind of laughing at Chris's pick, but we might be the ones get laughed at. I mean, you just never know.
I'm gonna tell you this. We make picks here in my house between my stepdaughter and my wife and I, and I'm gonna bring up the Packer-Panthers game, and I basically had to look at my wife for 3 straight minutes, going, "Why did you take the Panthers?" And I'm going, "You gotta be kidding me." So yeah, I know what it's like to go look. Why are you making that pick? Why are you making that pick?
Exactly. The next game we got the Patriots at 7-2 versus the Bucks 6-2. Bucks are 2.5-point favorites. Tim, who do you have?
Bucks are coming off a bye week, right? Yeah, they are.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah. I like the Buccaneers. They're scrappy. I see this team for some reason. I see this team in the NFC Championship game. I think they're scrappy. Give me the Buccaneers.
All right, Kevin.
This was one of the harder games to pick. Man, I think I'm going to take the Patriots.
All right. Chris is taking the Bucks. I'm taking the Bucks. That 2.5-point favorite. Another, we know they give them 3 at home, so you're saying the Bucks or the Patriots are only good for 0.5 point. Especially coming off a bye week. So again, a game that could be playoff bound or Super Bowl bound. I mean, both
Tom Brady Bowl.
Tom Brady Bowl. Yep. That Chris would brought that up. This is the Tom Brady Bowl. So, all right, we got the Saints at 1-8 versus the Panthers at 5-4. Panthers are 5.5-point favorites. I know I don't really have to ask Kevin this, but Kevin, who are you going with?
This is the Giants Bears.
No. Shane's Panthers.
Saints
He-
Panthers.
He answered it right the first time.
Yeah, this is Panthers all day.
Yeah.
Tim?
Yeah, this is Panthers all day because like Kevin brought up about they don't know what's going on with their quarterbacks. This is basically it's a crapshoot, and oh god, this is terrible. I'm surprised more people didn't want out of New Orleans. Yeah, this is Carolina all day and half of next week at this point.
Yeah, I got the Panthers in this one.
Here it comes.
We thought the Dolphins pick was crazy.
Here it comes.
Chris picked the Saints.
Oh my God, Chris!
Oh, Chris.
Again, we could be get laughed at on this one.
You could be laughing.
Chris for some reason has that luck when he picks these long shots.
Well, he did. Think about it. He did take the Texas Rangers to win the World Series the year they won the World Series.
Yeah, and he's looking pretty good at fantasy football too. So, all right, we got the Cards at 3-5 versus the Seattle Seahawks 6-2. Seattle 6.5 points favorite. I'm going Seattle. Chris finally wised up. He's going Seattle. Kevin, who are you going with?
I'm gonna make it 3 for 3 on Seattle.
All right, Tim.
Yeah, might as well make it to 4, Pete.
That's another game too. That what's Darnold going to do with his new weapon? New shiny toy there.
And you got Kyler Murray on the IR, so it's Jacoby Brissett again.
Yeah. And with the Cardinals do what they did to Dallas, because they do it 2 weeks in a row. So, we got the Lions versus the Lions 5-3, 8.5 point favorites over the Commanders. Kevin, who do you have in this one?
I'm taking the Lions. I think this is going to be ugly because Jaden Daniels is out for the year.
Yep.
So I think the Lions are going to go out here and make a statement.
Tim?
Yeah, you got this. The Commanders were shocking to me. Were shocking that they didn't make a move during the trade because they haven't had a running back since Eckler, and they're still hurting for it. Yeah, with no Daniels, no McCaffrey, I think, this is going to look ugly. So, by the power vested in me by the country of Italy, I'm taking the Detroit Lions as my lock.
Ooh. All right, we got Chris taking the Lions. I'm taking the Lions. Yeah, I don't think Daniels would have been that big of a factor if he was healthy, but yeah, that's a big blow to them. Tim, and you're right. I'm surprised after McCaffrey went down, they did start making phone calls, and maybe they did. We're not in the room, so maybe they were looking, but no teams were biting. So, next we got the Rams 6-2 versus the 49ers 6-3. Niners are 4.5 point favorites. Tim, who do you have?
I think this is I was going to say this is the only time I didn't take the favorite. That's a lie. I think the injuries are starting to pile up. I think this is where I think the 49ers injuries are really going to hurt them, especially against a team like the Rams. I've got the Rams in this game.
All right. Chris is going with the 49ers. I'm hitting it up with the Rams because, yeah, Tim, those injuries got to start hitting soon. Kevin, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm on the board with the Rams as well.
Yeah. All right, we got the Steelers 5-3 versus Chargers 6-3. Chargers are 3.5 point favorites. Kevin, who do you have?
This is the Chargers game.
Yep, Chargers Steelers.
Oh, it's the Panthers Packers.
Man, this is another tough game. I'll go the Chargers.
All right, Tim.
Yeah, I've seen both of these teams, and one of them didn't do us too much of a good job. I like the Chargers. The Chargers, I think, just have way too many weapons to go up against that defense.
Yeah. Chris is making this his lock. He's going Chargers. I'm going to the Chargers. try to count out Rodgers, but he seems to always change our mind. But yeah, the Chargers defense, I think will get to Rodgers. And that offense, yeah, got more weapons, but Steelers defense still pretty good. So, last Sunday game, I forgot to write it down at the first draft, so had to move it down. The New York Giants 2-7 versus the Bears at 5-3. Bears are favored by 4.5. Tim, who do you have?
I'm breaking people's hearts today, folks.
Uh-oh.
I've got the Giants.
Wow. Chris is going with the Bears. I'm going with the Bears too. If Scadaboo was healthy in this game, I probably would have flip-flopped. Kevin.
I hate to disagree with you there, Prime Moose, but I'm going the Bears as well.
All right.
You can mark mess around down for the Bears because
Well, yeah, that's obvious.
Yeah, that's a guarantee at this point.
We'll go with the Giants in this game. That'll be kind of interesting. All right, the Monday night game. We got the Eagles at 6-2, Packers at 5-2-1. Packers are favored by 2.5. Kevin, who do you have?
You want to talk about crapshoots? This is gonna be a crapshoot right here. It's gonna be whatever defense decides to step it up and play. So, man, and this is at home, and that's the only reason I'm taking the Packers.
All right, Tim.
Well, today this week is the week of me breaking hearts. If the Dallas Cowboys weren't on a bye week, I'd have breaking their hearts too. I've got the Eagles.
Chris is going with the Packers. I'm going with the Packers just mainly like what Kevin said, the home field advantage. They're kind of getting that mystique back where they play at home. It's hard to bet against them. It's not fully there like it was in the Brett Favre days, but they're slowly getting it back. So that being said, those are our picks this week. Do what you want with them. Maybe take Chris up on his offers. I don't know. You might want to do there.
Find out what drugs Chris is on.
Yeah. So Prime Moose, let's hit it up with the Prime 5.
I sit there and I looked at it, and kind of my title there on this show is about Ray Finkel going to the 2026 Hall of Fame. If anybody's been reading some of our stuff in the back in our chats backstage, you'll understand why it's that. But I decided to go with top 5 players to be named to the Hall of Fame this year.
Okay.
So my number 5 is a guy I think should have been in a while ago, but I think it's because of everybody that surrounded him when he played for the San Francisco 49ers. I've got the original 1,000 guy, Roger Craig. I think Roger Craig should have been in, but he's on the what they call it, the Legends Committee or whatever they call that one. I think he's got a really good shot. Yeah, I'm going to pull a little rank here on number 4. I think a guy that has waited a little bit longer than he probably should have, but I've got the wide receiver for the Indianapolis. I got Reggie Wayne. My number 3 is the guy I think is in the top 5 in rushing of all time. Another San Francisco 49er and Buffalo Bill and Miami Dolphin. It was cold. I got Frank Gore Sr., not Jr., because Jr.'s still playing, so he's really not eligible. My number 2, my top 2 guys I have probably the utmost respect for. I've got autographs of all 3 of these guys, so I'm hoping they all go to the Hall of Fame because then my autographs just go through the roof at this point. But probably the best Arizona, Phoenix, Chicago, St. Louis Cardinal to probably ever play. I've got Larry Fitzgerald at number 2, and when you see this name on your list, when you see my number one name on your list, you kind of go, yeah, he's just eligible now. So he's going to walk in. He's basically walked in. The moment he won a Super Bowl, he was walking in. My number one is Drew Brees.
Yeah. And the NFL has that weird rule too. It's 5 or none, right?
It's 5 years.
No, but I'm saying that they have to have 5 guys be selected to have a ceremony, right?
No. I think they're going to get 5 guys. I think I know the rule is. I know the Major League has 5 is the max.
Yeah, but I thought NFL had a rule where they had to have so many people.
Yeah,
to have a ceremony.
I think that's that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Before you all say, well, what about Torrey Holt? Torrey Holt needs to wait another year. He needs to get behind Reggie Wayne, but I completely agree. Torrey Holt should be in.
Kevin, what's your thoughts on those 5 guys?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good prime 5 there. I don't know how it all works for how you get selected and stuff, but what about Julio Jones?
He hasn't. I don't think he's eligible. I think he's eligible next year. I think you got to be, like I said, we got to be out 5
years. You got to be out 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think Julio should be in too. I don't know if he's going to be a first balloter because there were some first balloters that didn't get voted in until like their 3rd or 4th ballot.
Yeah. And looking at that list, I mean, Tim, you nailed it. Drew Brees is going to walk in. I mean, Fitzgerald should be walking in. Phillip Rivers, yeah, they don't do two in the same position, so he'll probably be waiting. Frank Gore, I mean, yeah, he should have been in, I think, a while ago.
No, he's on. He this is his first year.
Oh, okay. No, who was that?
Reggie Wayne should have been in.
Reggie Wayne should have been in. I'm just looking at some of the list here. I mean, Eli's probably going to get in. I think Bold is going to be one of those guys that is probably going to have to wait till there's not a good wide receiver in the crowd to get in.
Right.
Ricky Waters, Fred Taylor.
Taylor should be in. Taylor's going to end up waiting until like Roger Craig with the committee.
Yep. McCoy, is probably one of those guys that could get in, but might have to wait. Witten and Greg Olson both up there. Witten will probably get in because of his rings. I don't think
Witten will get in. I think Witten will get in before Greg Olson will.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Coaching candidate, of course, Belichick. He'll
out 5 years already.
What's that?
Belichick's been up 5 years already.
Yeah, they have him on the list of candidates.
No, it's been 2 years.
Yeah. Well, he's on the finalist list here for 2026 Hall of Fame.
Oh hell.
Yeah. So, but there's a good list. I mean, Torrey Holt, yeah. Jimmy Smith, Hines Ward. A lot of offensive players that made the final cut. Not many defensive. So maybe we do get a double up somewhere, But all right, with that being said, I got a little debate question here. We kind of started this last week. What's your guys' thoughts? Should the NFL just get rid of the midseason trade deadline? Kevin?
Should they just get rid of the mid-season trade deadline, be able to trade whenever, or what?
I just think I don't. I mean, you can throw it out there, but I was thinking more or less just get rid of the trading during the season. It's season trades. No,
that's the same noises that are being made in my head right now. The same noises that Prime Moose is making over there. Like,
Think about it. You'd be the only league in all the major United States major sports to not have a trade deadline inside the season.
Yeah.
Oh no. I was honestly thinking you were pushing it back. I'm thinking you push it back to like after everybody's had their bye week.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Okay. I mean, no, reason why I threw it out there is, I mean, yeah, there were some big movements, big trades, but it doesn't seem like we had always had this much action, and it just seems like it comes gone. Maybe they move it back. I know they've already recently moved it back because it was like last week of October, I think, and now it's November.
It was 2 weeks. It was like week 8 was the trade. I only remember because of Madden because you couldn't trade after
Madden. No, it's come back to Madden.
Yeah. But yeah, it was always week 8, and they moved it 2 weeks to week 10.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, for me, I don't think it impacts. Definitely doesn't impact the big players like baseball and basketball and football or hockey do. But I did decide to throw it out there. You guys are kind of maybe humming and hawing, maybe just move it back. Tim's idea, throw it back after everybody has their bye weeks. So.
Well, the thing is, I think we've been, and I don't know if Kevin will agree with me, and you might agree with me, but I think we've been babied so much by Major League Baseball and their trade deadline week, and it's just the fact is that there's 800 trades, even if it's small, to go into the trade week, and it's basically its own draft week type of prediction type of thing, and where we're happy we get 5 in the NFL if we're lucky, and then there's 35, 40 in the Major League Baseball. I think we've been babied and desensitized by the whole trade thing, but it's because there's no movements in the NFL. It's so small and few and far between.
Yeah, Kevin, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what he's saying. Yeah, and there's for sure a lot of more trades in MLB, which I don't know why. You pay all these big, you pay people all these big dollars, and then they don't perform, and sometimes you're trading, and I'm like, well, now you're just screwing over the other team. They got to pick up that contract. But yeah, there's a lot more trades in the MLB, and then like you said, we're lucky if we get 4 big trades at all.
NBA has a lot of big trades.
So.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I got you on that. So, with that being said, guys, final thoughts. We'll start with Kevin.
Oh, are we doing our fantasy football recap or no?
Oh yeah, we can. I was just looking at some things, but yeah, we can do fantasy football recap. Go ahead, Kevin. Give us your recap for your last week there.
Well, we won 111 to 101. We're 6-3. Can't believe I, got Rico Dowdle. He got me 16. Devontae got me 23, and then my kicker got me 12. So it's always good when your kicker's in double digits. Other than that, pretty much that's a lot of where my points came from. And then St. Brown, I think, got me like 18 as well. My quarterback, he took the week off. He only got like 6 points. Jordan Love decided, he's like, oh, we're playing the Panthers. Yeah, I'm gonna go take a nap, and he decided not to play. But yeah, we squeezed that one by. We're 6-3. We're staying competitive in the fantasy football. We got a good record. We just need crispy bacon to keep losing.
Yep. Tim, how was your team this past week?
Well, I'm going to say this. I won in what we call the bye week called Dragon Viper. There are very few teams. Oh, there's only one team that has ever lost on their bye week.
Blah 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 blah.
But it's nice to know when you could have 2 of your 3 wide receivers who are playing decide to beat Dragon Viper all by themselves. I had Drake London and T. Higgins who combined for a total of 71.9 points. And Dragon Viper put up 54. I'd like to thank the Academy for putting that on my schedule.
Yeah.
I probably could have had Cam Little's playing, and I could have lapped the field on lap Dragon Viper on that. This week I got Sarge. It's this is called the Tim Bowl for a reason because he's a Tim, I'm a Tim, we're all Tims. I hope he takes me serious. Doubtful. But that's all right. I'm projected 10 more points, but Sarge, you're used to this being in the Army, so just so you know, this is you. This is me. That's what that's gonna look like.
Yeah, I got the W last week. Yeah, it was a tough one. Yeah, everybody's going to be throwing that face at, who did Dragon Viper win? That might be a trivia question somewhere down the road. But so the rankings go. Christian Bacon 7-2 took the L. Neighbors, one game back at 6-3. Then we got Death from Within and Primetime Blitz at 5-4. Tim at 4-5, and then I'm hanging around 3-6. For the West, you got Blitz Happy at 7-2. Cannon Falls Bombers at 6-3. Justice Scary's team at 5-4. Mess Around at 3-6. Fifth Down and Drunk changed his name 2-7. And the bye week of Dragon Vipers is 1-8. So getting down there, getting close to playoffs. Looking to see if they have when we're going to start. But as it currently sits, Blitz Happy and Crispy Bacon would be on the bye. Justice Scary team would face Neighbors, and Death Within would face the Cannon Falls Bombers in the big bracket there. So, all right, with that being said, let's get to final thoughts. Kevin.
Again, another week of football coming, starting tomorrow. I hope, Chicago doesn't go in there and be like, oh, we're playing the frickin' Giants and pull a Green Bay Packers and lose to the Browns and Panthers. It'd be kind of embarrassing. We go out there, be competitive in this division, lose to the Giants because I hate to break it to you, Chicago fans, but our schedule only gets harder after these next 2 weeks. You get the Giants, and then you get the Vikings, and then you get the Steelers, Eagles, Packers, Lions, Browns. Like it's rough. So, we need to win these next 2 games for sure. Because there's a couple losses coming our way unless somehow miraculously we turn into the 85 Bears defense and stand a chance, which I don't see happening. But, yeah, it's another week of football. Praying Chicago comes out with that win. I'd actually like to see the Vikings win as well, even though they get the return of Lamar Jackson. But I would definitely like to see them come out with that win so that they can make the NFC North more competitive. But yeah, again, another week of football. Can't be upset.
Yeah. No, I get you. Tim?
Yeah, Falcons, Berlin. What else can I say? But we didn't have a show yesterday. Rank them. We'll be here today. Wrestling fans, you're going to want to watch because this is going to be fun. Other than that, keep watching all of our shows. And hey, Sarge, remember what the Army did to you? Because I'm going to do it twice as hard.
All right. Yep. Rank them. Definitely here in a few hours today. It should be a good one. We're not going to spoil anything, but yeah, for wrestling fans. Vikings, hopefully they come up with the win because their schedule's not going to get any easier. Bears, Packers, Seattle, Commanders, Cowboys. I mean, the list goes on. So,
Commanders and Cowboys, you should beat.
Yeah, it's the Vikings, though. So, but with that
But
being
it's the
said,
Cowboys.
yeah, it's the Cowboys. We like to punt. So, well, with that being said, we'll see y'all next week. Primetime Blitz. Have a good one.